I have to ask you this because a lot of people are asking what this means. A lot of people are talking about this word goiper. What does that even mean? And could this man be one of them?
Yeah. All this stuff used to be so fringe, and now it's like at the center of politics, and it's a little bit difficult for me to believe.
It is a little wild.
But groipers are the fans of the far-right podcaster Nick Fuentes. He's been around for a very long time. He was at Charlottesville. He was at Jan 6. Fuentes has long had a feud with Charlie Kirk, or had. He would show at his events. His fans would show up at their events, and they would ask Kirk leading questions intended to trigger Kirk into moving further to the right, particularly on immigration and gay rights. So Fuentes has totally disavowed this violence. He made a very forceful statement against that last night. But people are trying to tie this shooter to the groipers because, and this is a little obscure, he posed in a squat in an Adidas tracksuit for a Halloween costume. His mom posted that he was being a man in a meme. Yeah, people have seen pictures of Pepe the Frog associated with the alt-right, dressed in that same tracksuit doing the squat. However, that meme itself is a reference to Eastern Europeans posing like that in Adidas tracksuits. So, like, again, like it's like grasping at...
Yeah, it's also mixed up. And
inscriptions on a fired casing read, "Notices bulges, capital OWO, what's this question mark?" Inscriptions on the 3 unfired casings read, "Hey fascist, exclamation point, catch, exclamation point." Up arrow symbol, right arrow and symbol, and 3 down arrow symbols. A second unfired casing read, "Oh Bella Chow, Bella Chow, Bella Chow, Chow Chow." And a third unfired casing read, "If you read this, you are gay, LMAO."
I went to school with this Tyler Robinson kid. I'll show y'all. That's him right there. Tyler Robinson. I'm not trying to like clout chase, make this shit about me. But I'm not gonna say I knew this kid really well. I didn't know him very well at all, but I definitely saw him for like 3 straight years in high school. And the best way I could describe him is just like a Reddit kid. I don't know, I feel like if you were in high school around that same time, and even probably now, like 2018, and then like, you know, those kinds of kids, but that's exactly what he was. All I'm gonna say is this is the kind of shit that happens when you spend way too much time online, and all of a sudden your beliefs are all the way this way or all the way this way, and you do some dramatic shit to please these people that are not your friends. This internet shit is seriously no joke.
Hey, yo, what's up, guys? So, I'm going to be honest, for the past 10 days, I've been pretty gutted with what we had the Irina Zarutska murder in the Charlotte train, where a black male just stood up and just stabbed her from behind 3 times in the neck, while you had like 5 other people within the vicinity, all just sitting there and watching and doing absolutely nothing. And now we have the political assassination of Charlie Kirk. But the worst thing about all this is the mainstream media's coverage. Because we have people like Nate Burleson actually blaming conservatives and telling us to tone it down. Yeah, that's what they're saying, for us to tone it down. Then we got Matthew Dowd of MSNBC, who got fired for saying something stupid like suggesting that Charlie Kirk was at fault for his rhetoric to incite this violence against himself. How crazy is that? But let me show you what the left has been doing. Okay, they want to blame us, but let me show you what they've been doing. Take a look at this video here from years ago, maybe 5 years ago. What is the message that they're trying to give you here? Or something like this. The first one was Snoop reenacting, that it's okay to shoot the president, Trump. Then this one here of Kathy Griffin holding a beheaded, a severed head of Donald Trump, what looks to be Donald Trump. Imagine if someone on the right did that. Imagine if, a very well-known figure on the right, had an image of holding up Obama's head, a severed Obama's head, a Biden's head. What do you think the media outrage would have been then? And then just take a look at this compilation that I just pulled up here.
Let me ask you tonight, do you think Donald Trump is a fascist?
Yes, I do.
This is what kicking the shit out of fascism looks like.
Try to prevent
the spread of the lawlessness and the fascist chaos that's been unleashed against us.
So when we say Donald Trump is a fascist, fascism, a huge component of fascism is uniting racism, bigotry, a form of racist nationalism.
We are now living in a fascist dictatorship.
We are worried about potential rise of fascism in this country. We're worried about our democracy falling to an authoritarian and potentially fascist form of government.
Not only to roll over to Donald Trump's will, but to roll over our democracy and allow him to take over this country as a fascist dictator.
When fascism isn't just coming, it's already here.
The former chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, Mark Milley, said, "No one has ever been more dangerous to this country than Donald Trump, and he is a fascist to his core."
I just don't even know why there aren't uprisings all over the country, and maybe there will be.
People need to start taking to the streets. This is a dictator.
You know, there needs to be unrest in the streets for as long as there's unrest in our lives.
I would pay any money for someone to find videos of people on the right saying stuff like this, saying this type of rhetoric, this divisive rhetoric, calling the other side, the other party, a fascist, Nazis. What did they expect was going to happen when you have fringe lunatics on the left, deranged lunatics on the left, who are mentally imbalanced? Of course you were going to have a situation like the political assassination of Charlie Kirk. Like, what did you expect was going to happen when you espouse this type of rhetoric for the past decade, talking about Trump and his supporters in this type of way? And then we had this situation last year where Trump was, there was an attempted assassination on Trump on 2 separate occasions. And the mainstream media comes out for the next day and says, oh, we need to tone it down a bit. And then they just go back to, business as usual immediately afterwards. Okay, so with all that being said, what do you think would fit the description of Charlie Kirk's shooter? Because there's a lot of misinformation, disinformation going on from the mainstream media, leftists, talking about the shooter. Let me show you this here. Take a look at this photo. This is the original photo of Charlie Kirk's shooter. And then people are photoshopping a Trump t-shirt. Notice how the pants are exactly the same. The background, the bed is exactly the same. The only thing that is different is the t-shirt. And this is what people on the left are trying to do. They're trying to paint the shooter as a Trump supporter.
Some major news. A new uncovered photo of the alleged Charlie Kirk shooter shows him wearing a Trump costume in 2017. This image is going incredibly viral on social media right now, and it's a post from 2017. It reads, "Happy Halloween. So weird not trick-or-treating with the boys this year. Off they go. Hashtag Trump costume." And right there is the alleged suspect, Tyler Robinson. If you zoom in, you can see that his Halloween costume that year is a Trump costume. Now, this comes after days of people on the right speculating that the shooter must be this crazy liberal with all of these insane ideologies, but the alleged shooter is wearing a Trump costume reportedly back in 2017. So again, I'm not here to establish a motive. We have no idea why this guy allegedly did what he did. We'll learn in the next days, weeks.
Okay, honestly, I don't know how we have retards like Harry Sisson.
He's a homo.
Actually telling his audience that Trump supporters would actually wear something like this. Take a look at this costume, this Halloween costume. Is this something a Trump supporter would wear? Is this endearing to Trump? No. They're actually trying to make fun of him. Look at the face, okay? And then they got legs dangled, wrapped around his shoulder. So when you stand behind the costume, it looks like you're standing on top of Trump or he's hoisting you up by the legs. This is not something a MAGA supporter would be wearing. But the left will be willing to lie to you because they want this to fit their narrative. They want to portray this guy as a MAGA supporter and not some crazy radicalized leftist.
Charlie Kirk's killer, Tyler Robinson, he's not black. He's not trans. He's not Muslim. He's not an immigrant. He is not a Democrat. Meet Charlie Kirk's assassin, Tyler Robinson. He is a white, Christian, conservative, Republican male with a gun again. And statistically, when all of this was going on, when Fox News started declaring war, when Jesse Waters and Laura Ingraham, which recklessly tried to rile up their base that somehow the left was in charge of this, statistically, I knew that this was probably a white male, as all shooters are. And this seems to be MAGA grown terrorism. MAGA is a culture that embraces unrestricted access to guns.
Anyone with half a brain could have told you that this shooter was not going to be black, Asian, or Muslim, that he was going to be white. Okay, so you didn't really discover anything here, okay? This wasn't some shocking discovery you just made. But the fact that you're trying to push this MAGA narrative is just insane, okay? So many other people, like I said, have been, trying to push this narrative with the Halloween costume, the fake MAGA t-shirt, Photoshop MAGA t-shirt. This guy was obviously a leftist, Albeit, it looked like this kid came from a very stable household, a 2-parent household. Father was a sheriff, mother was a social worker. But it looked like this kid got very radicalized in college. Like so many other people. And like I said earlier, this is why Charlie Kirk was traveling across the country, trying to flip the minds of young ones. And as I said earlier, Democrats were terrified because of the new stat that was coming out that Gen Zs were going to be the most conservative generation in our lifetime. Anyways, guys, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.